Yes, what exactly is human design?
Yeah, so human design is a theory and a wisdom that uses different modalities that have been a real leading path in the world of our soul's development. So they are things like it uses astrology, it uses Kabbalah tree of life, it uses the chakra system, and it uses this ancient wisdom called the Chinese I Ching. And all of these modalities have helped people transform on a real soul level, and it is combining all of them to create its own system. So it uses parts of the planets, it uses our own energy centers, and effectively it's known as the science of why we're all different. And it's also the science of our aura. So we are a person, a soul here, but 3 foot around us is this aura. And in that aura holds our language, holds how we work, how we communicate. And it tells us what that is and how it works.
It's
So
information.
yeah. It's all this information, and we have been conditioned here to think that we all work the same way. We all have to work the same amount of hours in a day. We all have to know when we're 16 years old in high school or college. We need to know what we want to do when we're 35 years old. And it's a way to break free from that and break free from limitations, and that we all get to do things differently and have our own way to do it. And it's just the science behind that. There's so much more detail in it that's all about where the neutrinos were when the planets were in the placement where you were born, which is why it's on the time that you were born. And each of those energy centers brings in different gifts that you have, that you came here to live out effectively.
Yeah.
Wow, this is
Yeah.
That's so cool.
yes, I love it so much. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
ooh, let me-
It is crazy, and it's one of those things that I was just like, I have no idea what this means or where this from, like where this came from. All I know is that it feels so true to me, and I don't know why it feels true, but it feels true. So when I share all this information with you today, don't feel like it's a restriction or a way that you have to be. It's more like, how can I play around with this? How can I use the freedom that this is helping me get, and understanding myself deeply? And it's a way to just put everything that happens in life through your own filter, through your own system. And this, obviously, because you're doing it together, is just going to help you understand each other more, which is amazing.
Super cool.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
going to do like little bits from each of your chart and then how they marry together, because you know how I was saying to you that when two charts come together, they create a whole new chart. And that's what's going to be happening with you. So with you, Catherine, you are a generator, and I know you know a little bit about that. And this is going to be similar for you as well, DJ, in the sense that you are here to do what lights you up. And especially, you're someone who's got a real strong ethos in work. Like, you're passionate about what job that you came here to do, and you're passionate about sharing what that is, helping people and doing it. And when you're doing what really feels good to you, you're giving everyone else energy. Everyone wants to be in your aura because you're giving them energy, and they feel safe when they're around you. They feel really drawn in when they're around you. Now, that is when you are doing what you love. So if your job right now, and obviously I know you're running your business, is what you love to do, then you're going to be giving your clients energy. You're going to be giving people energy when you speak about what it is that you do. But if there's elements of this job or anything in life that you don't want to do, then it's going to be draining your energy. It's going to be really draining your life force. You have such a life force uniqueness. And if you are spending time doing things that just don't feel good to you, then it's like, oh my God, normally I have energy when I do this. Why do I not have energy? Or how this also shows up is resistance. And also self-sabotage and procrastination. A lot of the time, procrastination and self-sabotage is because your soul is trying to guide you, like, this isn't the way for you to do it. Right? Does that make sense for you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Does that resonate with you?
100%.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So where you are now in business and in life, it's about asking yourself, what is getting me really excited? And what am I just loving doing? And then what is draining me? Like, what is actually draining me? And it most of the time are things that surprise you. And a lot of the time for both of you in life and in jobs, think about the sentence when you use the word should and need to and I must. So that'll be things like, oh, I should really do this because I should really do this because I need to do that. When it's that need, should, must energy, then it is conditioning. It's doing things because you think you have to, and you think you have to because someone else has told you that that's the right thing to do or the right way to go about it. And those things are always going to be the ways that drain you. Is there anything that comes to mind when I say that?
For both of us?
Yeah. Marketing my online personal development business through Facebook groups. I'm more of a big picture thinker. I'm not the tedious worker at all. So every time I've been in a position where I have to do all the small tedious work, if it needs to get done, I'll do it, but I feel low, my energy is drained, and I get frustrated. But when I'm on the phone talking to someone or helping them in the space of finding like their purpose or helping them understand about their thoughts coming to reality and them drawing things in based on what they feel, I light up and I feel so energized helping them and they feel so good. So I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing that. Or when I'm creating a project, whether it's a song, writing a book, or something that's getting this information out in different ways, I am lit up and charged for weeks. But as soon as I have to do all the small things or my soul is just not there. So I agree 100% with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's finding, and I've got a little hack, like an energy hack that you can both use. So it's whether you can, sometimes in life, you're at a situation where you can get someone else to do that for you, hire someone else. Because especially when you're doing your own business, you're wearing all the like 500 hats that there is. And, you know, you want to be inspiring people and helping people. You don't want to be a marketing or a social media person, but it's that we're told we have to. And we want to run our business on Instagram or online. So how can we do that so that our energy isn't drained? And the way, there's like an energy hack. If you can hire someone else in, amazing. If not, or if that's just not an option, or you don't actually want to do that because you still like the idea of it, then it's the energy hack is not that I need to market my business, that when I get this done, my clients can see me. When I do this work, like say I've got to do an Instagram post or a post in wherever it is that you use, it's like, if I do this, then those people can see me. I get to be seen when I create this. And it really changes your perspective so that you can get that creative flow, because both of you have a real creative energy. So it's going to really, really help you with that flow of things. So just use that to kind of help you. And then for Catherine, with you, it's that you're meant to be here. And what's going to happen in the evolution of your life is that you're going to become a master at the thing that you love. Now, that mastery is not for you to know what it is logically, because your mind is going to try and be like, okay, what am I best at? What is going to make sense for me to be good at? And it isn't about that. It's about your soul evolving as it's meant to. And the mastery will just come from you experiencing it and you embodying it and you really being involved in it. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what we talked about when we met, like through experience.
Yes.
And that was meant to live out as many experiences as possible in order to get closer and closer to my mastery, or just where life is intending to bring me.
Yeah, exactly that. And so for both of you, so for DJ, for you, how it works for you is that you're here to show us that life isn't linear. We got taught here that life just goes like this, and you just go to high school, you go to college, you get a qualification, you go to work, and you just eat, sleep, and repeat. And you are here to teach us and be a wisdom in the sense that it doesn't work like that. Life gets to be creative. Life gets to be, I get to do that because I love it, and I get to do that because I love it. And my invitation to you here is let go of making sense of what is my job and make more sense and be more free in what do I love to do. Because I know Catherine already told me there's all these different things that you already do, which shows you're so in alignment. But imagine if the one that you didn't think made you money was going to make you the most money. But because you have this already constructed idea, like for example, I don't know enough, but I'm just going to create an example that, okay, so I run a coaching business, so that's going to make me the most money. But then I also love doing all this music, and maybe that's going to make me a fair bit. And then there's this thing, and that's going to not make me much. But what if you didn't need to have control over that? And what if it was happened in the most surprising way? So you are here to just follow the things that you love and be so, give all your passion and energy to them, because you're going to be like this, you've got such a big engine that just wants to be creative, wants to go. Once you're in it and you love it, it's like you could go for weeks. And it's just like, show us, you're here to show us that you get to do all these things and they all get to be a success. Because your mind telling you, well, this is only going to make me this much and this might make me this much, is getting in the way of the creativity and what the potential for all of that gets to be. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you can ask Kathy too. Like my mind, since I've been a child, like it almost doesn't seem to pick up on small details. Like I do not remember street names, barely remember people's names. I haven't known what day of the week it's been
For
for
a while.
years. I always have to ask someone else, but those things like don't even matter to my mind. It's more like, oh, if I want to become the greatest skateboarder, I just gonna go over there at the skate parks. Let's just go over there. We'll attract all these people and I have all these. That's how my brain kind of sees it. Or if it's like, you're supposed to go to college and then do this. I was the one that was like, I'm not in school. Let's go live in that country over there. And now we're living in
Yeah.
Bali and people are like, how? And I'm just like, yeah, you just go over there and do it. And like I've had a very out of the box way of seeing life in general. And it almost seems like it's not supposed, I feel like the loophole, like I'm like, it's not supposed to happen like that. But for me, it does. So,
Mhm.
but anything super small, detail oriented, or very like, you have to do this to get to here, to get to here, to me, it feels like torture in my brain, in my soul.
Yes.
And I'm
Yeah.
the person with my friends, with my family. They're always like, wow, you make this seem really possible. I guess you can do it like that. Or I guess this is, so I could see that too. But I do know that I should make sure I'm hiring or outsourcing things that aren't like that, because people have beautiful gifts and beautiful brains to be able to like detail and analytically and
Mhm.
thinking like I do would crush their brain. They're like, I need to have structure and a schedule. There's people
Yeah.
like that. So like the
Mhm.
universe aligns them in my life where it needs to be and aligns me in their life where they,
Exactly.
so we can both have that balance. But I
Yeah.
100% agree with you.
Yeah, totally, totally. And it's like, if you have the opportunity to use other people's geniuses, then it's an investment into the bigger picture. When both of you, and like your human design is a potential, right? It's not a set of rule book, but it's a potential for how you get to be. So if you can get, and your like aim is to get to a place where you are just doing what you're so lit up by, then, and all the other things, is someone else's job. I like hand them over to the universe. I'm like, this doesn't light me up, so I'm going to hand this over. You show me the way to do that. I'm going to hand this over to you. And it's like people just show up in your life that are meant to help you in certain elements. It's crazy when you just hand it over. And that's what this whole journey is. We're here to be our fullest expression, but equally be supported and guided in that. So it's really about, how can I offer this up and be willing to see a different way, that it isn't all on my shoulders. So the guy who founded human design, his name was Ra Urahu, and he said about the generators and manigens with this engine, and this is very biased because I'm a generator too. None of the designs are like good, bad, better, worse, none of that. They're all as amazing as each other. But with the generator and manigens, your role here is to, he explained it like a dance with the universe, that you're just meant to just respond to what's in front of you. So there's something in the human design called the strategy, and yours is to wait to respond. And that isn't, again, like a limitation. It is that your job is not to know what is going to happen in a year's time. It's not, even if your business, even if you're trying to plan your business out, like, okay, so next year I'm going to do this offering, or next year I'm going to write this music, or whatever it is, that isn't your job. Your job is in this very moment. It's like right now, what makes me feel good? And it could be the food that you're eating. It's like, do you know what? That pizza last night was so fucking good. Show me more of that. And it's going to invite you to those places, right? And it's because you're the life force of this whole universe. You give everyone life force energy. So it's so important that you are in that alignment with that energy. Anything that's telling you future is all the mind, which is conditioning. It's trying to project this ideal scenario because of how we've been conditioned of what that's right. But there's going to be something so unimaginable for you that the more you can respond to what's in front of you. And how that works is that you both have an intuition, right? And you both have sacral intuition, which means that you have this knowing inside. It's like right in your stomach that just knows. How you can help each other communicate that with the sacral doesn't know broad perspectives, right? So if one of you asks the other, right, where do you want to go for dinner tonight? Neither of you are going to know the answer because it's too broad, it's too wide. When something's in front of you, you'll know because you're using the responding. So for example, I know the most basic meals, but if you were like, right, should we go for pizza or pasta? Then you can use your intuition. And when you can practice with each other, close-ended questions. So what I mean by that is give each other options. So say like this, that, yes, no, red, blue, like give each other like there's this or there's that options, and help each other with using the sacral as your intuition. And when you are giving each other a broad question, the other's going to find it frustrating because you need the thing in front of you to be able to see, to know. Does that make sense for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so.
100%.
I mean, even you with menus, like we're on the topic of food, like food menus, he needs a picture and a title.
I'd rather be
That's
three things.
it.
I'd
Yeah.
rather be in and out menu. Give me three things. It's just like, and I can feel what's I'm in alignment with that right now.
Yeah.
I don't like overstimulation. I don't like a lot of different options. I don't like so many people talking at once. And even down to like my clothes, like as I've started growing up, like I have to like minimize, simplify it. Like I need to be like, okay, this, or this. And yeah, I don't know what it's been like lately, but as I've grown up, it's like a really big intuition thing. Like if I'm sitting around the wrong people, I can almost throw up, or my energy can go all down. If I'm sitting, I absorb it completely. And some people are like, "Oh, you have anxiety." I'm like, I don't think it's that." And some people are like, "Oh, you're just complaining," or I'm like, no, like if I'm standing in an environment, I can feel everything going on in that environment, and I can tell you what's gonna happen out of that environment, where it's gonna get. I'll be like, if we want this, if we want this result, this is not the environment to get it in. I can feel it, it's not here. If I go somewhere that's lit up, I'll come home flipping, dancing, like for me, that energy is still on me. It can't get off. I'm like, ooh, I can't even go to sleep. Like so I'm like, okay, maybe like if I can like set my life up to where I'm in a line with the environments that I always feel good, I would just explode. I've been like that since a child. I've been in TV shows, movies, everything, just from being around the right thing. And they're like, I like this person, like he's fun.
Yeah.
So
he's magnetic. That's why you're a manifesting
magnet. Yeah.
You're a magnet to everything.
But I've also like dealt with like the idea of like part of my life purpose. I think it's to help other people feel good and live a good life. But to me, sometimes I'm like, hey, I don't even think that's supposed to only come in one way. I think it sounds like mind blowing when I say it out loud, but I feel like my job is just to feel really good, like to feel really good. Like I've always there's a problem with my mom, like, hey, like this doesn't feel good to me. This feels off. Like my emotions are very powerful, and I'm like, when I'm feeling good, I feel like this is how I'm supposed to feel all the time. Like most
Absolutely
people,
that. Yeah, and you both have in your chart, what's really strong for both of your charts is that you have this line, this gate that is magnetic charisma. So it's to empower and be empowered. So both of you have that. So when you are together, that is going to be really strong. So you are both here to empower yourself and empower the other. So that's incredible that you both have that in your businesses. Like you both do that as part of your day-to-day life. And what I want to say to you as these generators, money gens, it isn't about how do I empower people? How do I create the right offering so I know I'm going to empower? Or how do I show people the way? By you doing it, and I know this sounds backwards for like business coaching, but if you do it and you lead by example, that's when your magnetism, people are going to be like, whatever cup they're drinking, I want it. Like, I don't even know what this is, how much, I just want to drink that cup. And business teaches us that we have to project these offerings and show these like pain. Oh, are you still there? Are you there? Oh no.
Did we freeze? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
No. Yes, we're here.
Oh, okay. You've been frozen. Oh no, it's
We're good.
freezing. Are you
Is
back?
it us?
Yeah, you just
Yeah, we
completely
hear you
froze.
completely.
Oh, okay.
We hear
Amazing.
you completely.
Amazing.
All right.
Amazing. So it isn't necessarily about focus on how do I create this business and what is the offering and, you know, people's like pain points and all of that. It's like, how did I live an empowered life? How did that happen for me? What did I experience to get to this place? And when you guide people through that way, that's going to be when they're so drawn into you. No.
Hold on, wait. Stay on, stay on. Can you
Okay.
hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You just froze.
Okay, you were frozen for a second, but now we can see and
But we
hear
can still
you.
hear you, yeah.
We can see and hear you, but for video sake. let me see.
Okay.
Are we back?
Bloody Zoom. Bloody Zoom. Yeah, I feel like you're there now.
We're here with
Yeah. So does that make sense to you about the empowerment and how to show you're empowered?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's something for you to focus on and see like in your business. So just to get a little bit into profile, your personality. So Catherine, you are 3-5, which means, and I know we spoke about this a little bit, but I'm going to tell you about it in life, how this works for you together as well. So you are someone who's here to firstly learn by life, right? So if DJ's like, oh, you don't need to go and try that thing, I already did it and I didn't like it, you're like, no, but I've got to try it. I need to try it for me. And that's because you learn by life. So allow yourself, don't restrict yourself from feeling like that's something bad. You are really, really here to learn by life. And what that means is that you can't ever really fail and you can't ever really get it wrong. That doesn't exist for you. If you ever feel like that's coming up, that is totally conditioning, and that is totally something telling you that your life's meant to look a certain way. So you are here to learn by being involved in it all, like being really like getting stuck in and going in it. And then how that's going to work in business is that people are going to be so drawn to what you are doing. You're the kind of person that they're like, what, you moved to Bali, how did you do that? Like, what, you set up your own business, how did you do that? Like, what, this is what you do in life, how did you do that? Because not everyone has that energy. Not everyone has the energy to go and get involved in life. So that is truly, truly your magnetism. And the more you can express that to people, and it could be like on your Instagram or your post, like, oh, so this is what I tried out and this is how it happened for me. This is how my business happened. This is how my move to Bali happened. People are going to be really, really drawn into that. And it's giving yourself freedom that even you two together, say that Catherine, you really want to try something, and DJ, you're like, no, I'm not bothered. It's allowing freedom, that it's okay that you want to try and it's okay that you don't. And there is no right and wrong. It's just how you learn, right? And it's just how you experience. Because for you, Catherine, everything that you go and experience is going to be all these seeds of wisdom. And it's like, I always imagine this like imaginary energetic basket that you have, and all these experiences you have, you just put these seeds of wisdom in this basket, and then eventually it becomes your unique wisdom that people are going to come to you and learn from. So really get involved in the experiences of life and be okay in all of that. And then the second part of your profile, which you both have, so this is known as the 5 line. So I wonder how true this is for you and how much you resonate with this, but you both have this 5 line energy, which is all about in your aura. So this science of this aura, you have what's known as this save the day energy. And people are going to be very drawn to you. And how it works is that there could be like a homeless person and a billionaire, and you just see people. You're not like, oh, I'll speak to the billionaire and I'm just going to bypass the homeless person. You just see people, and you're open, and you're really open and receptive to just souls. And because of that skill, it's a true skill. Because of that skill, people are going to be very drawn to you. They're going to feel really comfortable around you. They're most likely that say that you're at a bar or a party or something, people are going to gravitate and want to stand by you guys because you just have a very warm energy. Now, this save the day energy means that another part of that is that they want to tell you all their problems. People are like,
Oh my
this is
God.
my
Let's talk
problem.
about how we, yeah.
Yeah, and they just want to tell you it all because they feel safe around you, and you have within your aura, it's literally, I can save the day. They're like, well, this is a place to dump my stuff. This is a place to tell you all my problems. And you'll probably get it from family members, from friends, and it's both of you have this. So you're both going to really be going through this where it's like, oh my God, wow, these two, I can just tell them all my problems. Do you, I can see, I mean, the nodding tells me that that feels really true.
We try to come up with like plans to like, well, okay, if people ask what do you do, don't fully tell them because they're gonna think that's an excuse. Or people are like starting to come sit down, feel comfortable, point the conversation somewhere else so they don't start spilling their stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Especially because we like take time to like clean our energy and like
Yeah.
It's cool every once in a while with a purpose,
but we some days we don't go outside because we're like we're gonna just like
attracted
we're
all
gonna
these
all these
conversations.
conversations. People are, invite me to here, like you should come to this.
Thank you.
They're gonna be like, come here, do this, or can I explain this to you? How can I do this? Like you, just walking outside to the front of our place, it's like 30 conversations. So we're like, I don't want conversations today, you know, or I
Yeah.
don't want to hear a whole bunch
Yeah.
of problems today when I just cleared my mind, you know.
Yeah,
it's
so
true.
this is what that's saying to me. So it's an incredible thing that you have, and what it shows is that you are here to be of service as a way that isn't a detriment to you, but to people, because people are going to be so drawn to you and gravitate to you. But your lesson in this life is boundaries, right? And working with your own internal pressure, because both of you have within you the skills and the just innate knowing how to help people. It's just innate within you. So someone could come to you with a problem about something in their villa, and someone can come to you with a problem with like their dog or their partner or their parent, and you just have the skills to know how to help. And it's all within your energy. So this is basically about understanding your own energetics, and what your lesson in evolution is going to be is to work with the pressure to help. So when someone comes to you and they have their issues, it's asking yourself first, do I have space for this? Do I have space? And do I have a desire right now to do this? Because it's going to be in you. And the reason that I totally get that you're like, I'd actually rather stay in than go outside. And that's because you want to help people. You have the desire that you want to help. So if someone asks you for your help, you most likely won't say no.
Yeah.
Now, what happens when you say no are two things. You empower them. You actually empower them more to find their own voice. And equally, you leave space for someone else to come and help them. So maybe someone has a problem with, I don't know, a family member, and you can help them like 70%. And you feel this pressure, like, I know I can help, so I'm just going to say yes. But then if you actually say no, then the universe brings someone who is an 100% person. That person will never be left in the dark. We're here in a much bigger picture, a much more guided picture. So this is about you, both of you, working with that internal pressure. that is, and it's putting it through your own filter that's like, does this light me up right now to help this person? Because sometimes it's will. Sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm going to give you all my good stuff, and you just want to share everything. And sometimes it's like, I don't have the space. And it can work for you by just, even the way you communicate, you can say things like, I don't have space for this right now, or equally, you can just not respond, because you responding is giving them more. They're like pulling you in by the rope, but you just going, yeah, I feel you. That's also all they need, and that's totally okay. So it's like your learnings here are to learn that you don't need to be everyone's savior. And it's like, well, I can, because you just have that skill, but it's learning that, but it isn't my pressure. This isn't a detriment to me. How does that feel for both of you?
100,000%.
Yeah, I want to know what my mom's is, because she has the same challenge, and she is in her 40s now, and her that's been her biggest thing. She calls it the cape. So I have to take the cape off. She's like
Yes.
everyone always lived with us. Everyone, oh, I'll save your situation. It's okay, or I'll work with you too. She coaches,
Oh,
um,
wow.
just purpose coaching. Yeah, it's crazy. So,
Yeah.
and okay, yeah, but like that's like her main thing. So I'm trying to like learn to take the cape off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it naturally comes like as being like as women too, and especially when you've seen a lot, when you've grown up with a lot, you want to save a lot of people from different pains or different challenges that you know that you could be a source of help, but you don't even know that if you're not balancing that, that you're just hurting yourself in the end. And like,
Exactly that.
and it goes with men as well, and like coming from a lineage of your family members, but it's like that need to like, okay, we want to make sure everyone is good,
Mm-hmm.
but also like in my case, like sometimes I would think I'm selfish for like wanting to make sure I'm good first and then putting everybody else on the back burner. But it's like, no, if I'm like, in the long run, I'm saving everyone by saving me first.
Yes, exactly that. And that's why I wanted to bring this up as well, because you both have it. It's going to be both of you. Like, a friend's going to come around to your place, and you're both going to be like, we're a team here. We can help because we both have this energy, and you'll feel that intuitively. But this is learning that that doesn't mean that you should. It really doesn't. And honestly, I promise you, by you saying no to more people, and that isn't a literally like, no, leave me alone. It's more of an energetic, like, I'm just going to stand back here. I'm just going to stand back and allow, because you allow that person to actually find the answer themselves. And also, it's like, I'm getting a real strong message here is for both of you to not feel like the weight of the universe is on your shoulders, because the universe is using you in these skills. They're like, okay, who can we bring to them so they can help in this moment? And who can we bring to them to learn to say no? Because whoever you need space from, there's someone else that's going to help them. We're all here. All of us are here to be guided, supported, and loved. It isn't on your shoulders. So it's working with your own energy that's going to be telling you, I know I can help, but I'm choosing not to in this moment, and that's okay. And I'm going to believe in myself in that moment, and that be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. Sometimes I feel like if you do try to help or save everyone before they make a mistake, that you can see a little bit ahead of them or something. Like sometimes you're getting in the way of their process, of their
Mm-hmm.
learning, and sometimes even finding their passions or purpose. Because sometimes getting out of that mess after you learn from it is something you're going to use to want to help people that have
Mm-hmm.
been where you are. So sometimes it's like necessary. I've learned all my greatest things by making mistakes,
Yeah.
business
Yeah. Oh
mistakes.
my God. Absolutely.
I need it. I need them, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it's a healthy
Yeah.
balance, I think.
Yeah, totally. It's a balance, and it's just a learning. It's learning like, okay, I have this, because it's an energy, right? So it's like, have this energy within, and this is my learning to know when I want to use it and know when I want to just save it. And because you both have this sacral that knows in the moment when something is right now, is gonna know. Listen to that more than you listen to your mind. And it could be that like a really close friend or a really close family member comes to you, and your mind's going to tell you, well, I should help because they're my best friend or they're my family, like I should. But if your intuition, like right in your stomach, is like, not right now, and it's just going to say that, like, not right now, it's about listening to that. really about listening to that, because the mind is just gonna try and dictate, but the mind is never a decision maker. It is the body, it's the energy that's really gonna be the decider in these kind of things. Yeah. So then DJ, the second part of your profile, so you were actually a 5-1, and what the 1 is all about, and I know you said about how your brain works, which is all in your chart, makes complete sense, but the 1 is all about knowing information. Like, information feels good to you, and the 1 is really about getting to the bottom of things. So you might be the kind of person that goes down rabbit holes and just like wants to know more information, and is like
You.
Yeah, that's me.
and it's like, oh my God, I just need to know more. I need to know more. And you learn. So the way Catherine learned by getting involved in life, you learn by information. Information feels security to you. And it's an element of safety. So it's never like telling yourself that that's a bad thing, that you're in this rabbit hole and like you're all of a sudden like on this site reading up on all this stuff because you just want to know more and more and more. That's totally your skill, and that's your absolute superpower. And it's about allowing yourself to go down these holes and just get lost in it, but then learning a real balance between knowing that you might it's like a pressure to feel like you need to know more. You need to know more. No, I just need to know more. No, I need to keep going down this road because I need to know more. And it's learning to get to a point like, okay, I know enough. Like, what I know is enough, and that is okay. And like, say for example that you say you're both going away for a weekend and you're going somewhere. You're the kind of person that needs to know, like, okay, where are we staying? Like, what does it look like? What is it going to be like? What kind of food's there? And that information is really good to you, but it's using it to support you, but then learning to balance the I need to know more kind of game. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, I feel like I have a really good balance of like let's just say we want to go somewhere like that. I'm like more like, okay, like how much of it does it make sense what we're trying to do right now?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is the quality of the place good? Okay, then I can just go and watch it unfold.
But logistically too, it's like, is it gonna be too loud? Like even with guest houses, you know, it's like think of the logistics that you used to not, but now that you've grown more like sensitive or like like empathic, you're more like the questions that you ask are like, okay, is it noisy? Is it bright? Is it gonna be like this? Is it modern? Is it this and that and that? You know.
Yeah. So I think like a balance of that, and also I have to learn by going to the energy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I can like watch a video, I can learn, I can read something, but my experience is always different. I could read something that's like it takes 10 years to get to here. You have to learn this. You have to get to this person. You have to know how to like meet these people. And I would just put it down, and be like, that feels overwhelming. I have to go there, and I'll walk over there. So like, man, I like this guy. Hey, like usually people have to wait, but like here, I'll just give you the paper. Like you got it. And now I'm an actor in SAG or something, or like it happens different for me. But yeah, I can see like a good balance of what feels really good. But I do stay up all night studying.
Doing rabbit, like getting into rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And it's like when it feels good to you and you feel inspired, do it. Go get lost in those places. It's just that if it ever is gonna be a point where it holds you back because you're like, I need to know more. It's just learning that balance of that. Because you're always going to know enough. And that's also somewhere. So you have really similar centers. So I've got your charts here. So you have really, really similar. There's just some when you come together, you then create another center. But for both of you, the 7 chakras that we have evolved. So there used to be like 4 chakras, then we evolved into 5 chakra beings. And the Hindu chakra system is about 7, and human design is because we have evolved into 9 centered beings. And one of those centers is the emotional center. And we as humans here, it's like a 50-50 split with who has this center and who has it open. So in human design, if you have a center colored in, it means that you have your own innate energy. You don't need to go out in the world and search for this energy. You already have it within. And if it's open, what that means is that you take in energy from the outside world and you amplify it and you make it bigger. So both of you have open emotional center. So what that means, and you kind of gave me an inkling into this earlier, is that you are going to be taking on everyone else's emotions. and you're going to be amplifying them, because it's like you don't have your own gauge in your system to tell you when's enough. So for example, I have an emotional center. So say we meet, we go to a cafe, and I'm just really annoyed that day. I'm like a 5 out of 10 annoyed. And I just come and sit down with you. And then all of a sudden, both of you are like an 8 out of 10 annoyed. And then I'm looking at you like, why are you annoyed? And you're like, I don't know. And it's because it's my annoyance that you've picked up from.
We just created more of it. We just reflected,
Yeah, and you make it bigger, you amplify it, and it's only because you don't have this gauge for it. So your learnings here is like, these emotions that I'm experiencing aren't mine. Where have I taken in too much of the world? And I know you've already said how you really cleanse your energy and really do like energy protection things, and that's going to be so important for you in your emotional center. So for both of you, it's really good to think like, okay, it doesn't even matter where you took these emotions in from, but it's just knowing if you feel really emotional, they aren't yours. It's just that you've taken on too much of the world around you. You've taken on too much energy that's knocked you off your center. So it's not about trying to create a story, because our mind will want to create the story. It's more about, how can I let these go? Like, how can I detach and let these emotions go from me, because they aren't mine? And that's going to be really evident when all these people come to you with their problems, because you have this strong magnetism in there. And then you're feeling their emotions. You're like, whoa, shit, I have got this. So this is about, how can I hear them? That person is there. How can I hear what they're saying, but not absorb it? I want to hear, and I want to feel like, okay, I feel that you are feeling this emotion, but I'm not going to attach myself onto it. And it's about having that boundary. You can witness it, you can see it, and when you witness it from like a backstage point of view, then you actually can see more wisdom, because you can separate your own self from the emotion. That's where you can help more. But when you are already, it's like you've put the jumper on of like overwhelm, frustration, and you're in it. Like I always say, the fish can't see the water because it's in it. You can't see water when you're swimming in it, because you're already in it. So that's the same with these emotions. So when they feel like they're like this, it's like, okay, I need to remove myself and get rid of these emotions from me, and they're not mine. Do you feel like that happens a lot for you?
a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, like whatever you are saying and doing or you're being right now, I can feel all of that, which is really good, by the way. And like, if this was a call of the laptop's gonna die. If this was a call of someone calling me about what's going on in their household and why they feel so low and they feel like no hope, I feel that way. I'm still able to help you and give you like, maybe you try this, and if you give me like the, yeah, but this never works for me now, I feel the momentum of your energy, your focus, your words. I can feel like the words. It's like the words come out of your mouth and land on me. It literally feels like that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, ooh. So you wanna put it on the chart inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just gonna move inside.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
So it literally can feel like that. But give us 1 second. Let me grab this charger.
No worries.
Let's go inside. Babe.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
You're right by Cafe Coach, aren't you? Don't you
No,
live
we
by
just
there?
moved.
Oh, okay.
We were living at Zen Cafe. I don't know if you know
Oh,
what that is.
nice. Actually, I tried to get a place there, but it was all booked.
Yeah, we were living at Zen Cafe. You want to live here with? Cool. But so yeah, so I literally could feel it like as if their words and stuff is like on me. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I need to learn how to, if that's even a possible thing, like be able to be in a field and not
Yeah.
feel it. Not
Yeah, so how you can do that, so I'll help you with that, is how you can do it is, if you're already in the emotion, then you feel like it's already yours. It's like, wow, it's not like, oh, I am witnessing anger, let's say. You're like, whoa, I feel angry. So this is like someone speaking to you and you're speaking, and It's change the language that you use and say, oh wow, I'm witnessing anger. I can, even if you're saying it in your head while they're talking, I can see anger. And ask yourself these questions. What is that anger trying to tell me for this person? What is that anger trying to show me for this person? Imagine anger is its own soul, is its own entity, because then you are less likely to put it on like it's your own. It has its own reasoning and purpose. So for both of you, it could be that you're speaking to a client or someone, and they're experiencing an emotion and you start to feel it, and then you're like, okay, wow, what is this sadness trying to tell me right now? Is there anything that I need to learn from this sadness? And when you speak of it in that language, then you create it as an entity and it separates itself from who you are. It's not like I am sad, I am feeling sad. It's that it's something else from you. And it's like a curiosity. What is it trying to teach me in this moment? Is there anything I need to learn from this? And it will really, really help you just to separate that and not wear it.
I think that's a lesson we have just been learning, because we've been talking about this topic lately of the saying is, it is what it is. It just is. So
It's not good or bad.
it just is. So for example, if
Yeah.
you're walking, if let's just say you walk through a bunch of like different frequencies. Let's just say you're on the street and you walk past a ice cream shop. And then you can feel the vibe of people laughing. Usually people are happy when they're getting ice cream, like you're like, wow, you feel all that joy in there. You can that's what that is. And then the next place, let's just say, is a DMV, where people are wrapped around the corner and the workers are usually a little snobby and frustrated and paperwork, and you can feel, you're like, ooh, like that just is what it is. I don't want to go over there.
Right.
And then
Yes.
the next one's a health food place, and it feels vibrant, and like you're like, ooh, like it feels radiant in there. You can kind of identify what those emotions those cluster of emotions are, and understanding, if I walk through that, I might feel a little frustrated being around frustrated people. But if I go to the ice cream shop, I might feel a little lighthearted and childlike, without being like, that is me though. Like, these are
Yes.
what I'm experiencing.
Yeah, totally, totally. And as well, what feels good to you and what doesn't feel good to you is totally unique to you. So there could be someone who loves the rush of this hard work. There could be someone who loves the rush of the office and they want to be around there. So that is also a guidance to what is right for you. It isn't like, okay, everyone loves this and everyone doesn't like that. It's like, oh, wow, this is my own guidance. This is my unique way. Like the emotions in the world are more like a guidance system telling you, like, okay, go into that store or don't go into that one. So it's like, use that, play with it, that it isn't, this is for you, because someone else might really enjoy that different emotion that it doesn't feel good for you. But it doesn't feel good for you because it's not meant for you. And the ones that do feel good for you are like, go in there, go enjoy it, go experience it. And it's more like a guidance system for you, whilst having a protection up as well.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then another place where you're both open. So I'll go into as well where you create a new chart, but you both open in your head centers. And what that means is that when you're by yourself, you're not a conduit for ideas and inspiration. You get inspiration and ideas from being out in the world. So maybe you go for a walk on the beach and you're like, oh my God, I've just had an idea, we should do this. Or you go sit in a cafe and you're like, wait, I want to redesign this whole thing and it's going to look like this. And that's where you're going to spark your ideas and inspiration, when you're out in the world. So if there is something that you're trying to do from work and you're sat in a room by yourself, your energy is going to feel like it's kind of like an uphill climb to try and create that thing, to try and get that thing moving. So use being out in the world as your soundboard and your inspiration. And it's going to be like going for a walk or at the gym or whatever it is, and you're like, why do I keep getting all these business ideas? Why do I keep getting all these ideas? But use that as like a playground. The world is your playground for you to witness inspiration, not just to be by yourself and be just inspired by yourself. So that's the light of it, that you get to be in this world playground. And then the shade of the head center, these head centers here, is because it's pressure. So there's going to be constant pressure coming into the world in your head. If you are picking up other people's head pressure, it's going to be questions like, I don't know the right answer for this. I'm really unsure on this. It's going to always be needing to search for clarity, but feel like you can't quite find it. It's going to be very much overthinking something. Do I need to keep thinking that? No, maybe that isn't the right way. Maybe I need to think of another way. And it's going to be these constant questions around whether something is right, whether it's the right answer, whether it is good enough, whether it's the right color to pick. All of those questions are just mental pressure that you would have taken on from other people. So when you find yourself questioning your own self, wondering like, should I do it this way? I don't know if I should do it that way. That's when it's like, okay, this head pressure, too much head pressure. And because you both have that, you're not taking that on from each other. It's that you have taken it on from the outside world. So this is when it's important in as well. This looks like headaches. It looks like even eye aches where your eyes start to ache. It's like, okay, I've taken on too much mental pressure. I need to get out of this headspace and bring myself back to my center, or do something completely off topic, so I'm not feeling that pressure at the moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think all that you just said like completely resonates. For me, I figure that I need to have, and if I work or have ideas, I need to be doing something. Either I have to go to an aesthetic cafe or different place, or just see something new. Like, and that's, I'm very big on experiences and adventures, because for me, it's like I get inspired through that. I'm like, wow, like you could see, like I could do this, I could do that. Even talking to different people, right? Planning this retreat and like meeting different people. I'm like, okay, I could do this, I could do that, X, Y, and Z. And with that also comes a lot of stimulation and a lot of openness of being able to take on all these different ideas and like overthinking and all that stuff. So for me, I just figured out, I'm like, okay, there has to be a balance. Like, yes, I love to like be out and open, but sometimes too, taking a day where it's just like we go play arcade games and don't worry about nothing related to work. We're just fueling our inner child. Or it's just like, okay, we go to the movies and we're on a whole different frequency. We come back, we go to sleep early, and then the next day is a brand new day. Watch the sunrise, and then bam, like all, and then like you're back in like your own like energy. So I feel like I've had that like so much. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like I don't feel like, okay, something is different. Like no, like maybe I'm like just doing this. It's like validation.
Yeah, totally. And the way the world has taught us is that we need to be on all the time. And because you both have this sacral energy, this life force energy, you're here to be the life force of the world. You might feel pressure to constantly do. And it's like, what am I doing today? What can I do right now? What do I need to do next? What's on my list next to do? And this do energy. And the world has told you that's what you've got to do. The world's told us that we need to work like 90% of our life. And that's all that life is about. Right. And I already know that you both have this playful energy. And it's really recognizing, am I putting pressure on myself to do? It's not validating yourself when you've done something. It's just validating yourself for just who you are, right? So what I mean by that is if one day you do like 10 things off a to-do list, then that not be validating more than one day where you rested all day because you needed to. Neither of those validate you. You are enough and worthy as you are. And it's really about, human design really invites you into, it isn't about this huge picture of what is my life. It's about this very moment. Like, how am I in alignment in this moment? How am I being true to myself in this one moment? This is the only thing that exists. So if I need play, I'm going to play. If I need work, I'm going to work. and that be okay, and that be enough. And how there's like a theme in human design that shows you if you're out of alignment. And for both of you, it's frustration. So if either of you are getting frustrated, energy in your body can't move smoothly. It's like outside you feel frustrated, but internally it's like energy is like can't get through. It can't express itself how it wants to. It can't create how it wants to. So when you are feeling frustrated, that is your sign. I'm out of alignment. I'm pushing. I'm forcing. I need to take a step back. I am guided. I'm just going to respond. I don't need to push and force. And the frustration is going to show you that there's an out of alignment. And so just take a moment, take a step back, go change it up. If that's play, if that's work, or whatever it is, that will also be a real guide for both of you. Yeah. Amazing. So this is something that's quite interesting. So DJ, you have your throat center, right? So what that means is that you are someone, this is why you're a manifesting generator. You are someone who came here to express your truth, express like the words that you are feeling, like what it is you want to say. You have these stories about life that is going to be really magnetic, and people are going to be really drawn into your words. So for you, it's going to feel easy to express. Maybe you've had a situation, or there's somewhere that you want to go, you're having a conversation. It's going to feel really energetically correct for you to express what that is. Whereas Catherine, you have an open throat. So what that means is that you might feel pressure to speak when you don't necessarily need to. And you might feel pressure to fill in the voice, or pressure that you have to say the right thing. And what you say has to come across in a particular way. And this is about learning that we all are here to communicate differently. So DJ, if it feels good for you to say, look, this is what I feel in this moment, this is what it thinks to me. But then Catherine, this is about you, like, I don't have anything to say right now. If I do, I'm pushing, and that being okay, because your centers are working differently in this space. It might feel like DJ, you're saying nothing, and Catherine, you're saying so much more. And that is because you would have taken on his throat energy and amplified it. And then it's like, I've just got so much to say. I just want to keep saying more and more. So it's about recognizing, does this feel like pressure to speak? Or does this feel like I want to speak right now? And how it works is that your voice is actually very magnetic. And it's that it's like your voice is sacred. And it's really about, do I want to put energy into this right now? Or I'm okay just not saying anything right now. So I would play around with communication, not needing to, because as well, they teach us, in life, that you have to say what you feel and you have to say what you feel, but it's not always energetically correct for everyone. So if DJ, you're like, look, I just want to get this out because this is energy in me. This is what I think about this, and this is how I feel. And then Catherine, you just give yourself space. In that moment, you can say if you want to, but it's knowing that I don't need to fill the space if I don't want to right now. Maybe I just want to come back to this, and maybe I don't need to fill in that void. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, yeah, I think it does. And then also, I think the opposite, when he doesn't have much to say, and then I'm just like, okay, well, like, and I kind of like want to get it out of him, because I feel like that need of, you don't have anything to say, like, because it's so big on, like, you always have something to say. So I take it as like, just like he's shutting down.
That could be one of our arguments. I'm often saying, like, hey, like, I'm a very different thinker, and a lot of my life I'm always explaining myself to people. Why you vegan? Why do you think like that? Why didn't you want to go to school and do it this way? Or I'm often explaining myself to people, which I'm tired. So I'm like, hey, like, when I'm with you and when I'm hearing you talk, I'm like, okay, beautiful, babe. Like, okay, cool, that's a good thought. Like, thank you for sharing that. And I'm just quiet. She's like, so you're just gonna? I'm like, I don't have to talk a lot. I'm just like, and sometimes my manifestations happen that easy. Like, I go somewhere, And I'm just like, yeah, I'm looking for this. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, point here. I'm like, thanks. I just go, sometimes she is more like she likes to hang out, like talk about, okay, yeah, and I'm looking, okay, yeah, make friends, all that type of stuff. Me, I'm like, cool, like you're resourceful, so am I. I put your number in my phone. We create this. Oh, awesome. Like that's so cool. Thanks. It
Yeah,
saves
yeah,
me
yeah.
energy from explaining. I'm not tired after explaining. It's
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes we just have to have a balance of like that communication. But some days I,
Some days you just.
I just don't talk. And I don't feel like, I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But since I've been a
Yeah,
child,
because
people
you
treat
don't
it like,
have the pressure. Yeah, so you don't have the pressure to have to talk. You know that what you say is your truth. So you're like, if I want to speak right now, I'm going to speak. If I don't want to speak right now, I don't need to. And that's
this
okay for you.
this is good for us because we just had like a challenge the other day. We were talking, and then I was getting frustrated because I was like, hey, like I've explained this part to you 30 times. You asked me about this, like
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm very simple. It's not going to change. Like I'm like, most people are liars about who they are. Like I am straight and upfront, and it's not going to. And it's like, but just explain this because I'm thinking like, and I was like, and to me, it could be frustrating. I'm like, hey, it's a gift. I never want to shut down your voice. Like you're a great,
Mhm.
excellent communicator. It's what you need for your job. It's what you need to inspire people. It's beautiful. Some people don't even feel like their words are valuable enough to speak. But like
Mhm.
sometimes I said something once, that's it. Like I don't feel the need to. I don't know why. I just
Yeah,
like
that's always been his
Yeah.
thing. Like it is very constant and consistent. And for
Mhm.
me, maybe I'm thinking in terms of myself that mine might not be that. And I think we talked about this when we met with each other, that one day I might feel something, might say something, and that resonates. Now I feel it. But then a couple of days later, I'm like, wait, let me tweak a little bit of this. Wait, like
Yes.
I'm feeling
Yes.
like aligned with this more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that is because you are completely open. So the head center's open and the throat. So what that means for you is to let go, right? And I know that sounds funny because it's like, okay, well, I have a coaching business. I want to share what I think about something, but you are here to expand on all points of view. You are here to, and both of you are here to understand there's different points of view, there's different sides of all these different coins. So when you release attachment to it having to be one way, and when you release attachment to what you say and allow yourself to express if you need to, but not be attached to what you have said, means that there's less of this pressure for it to be the right thing. And it always have to be right. So I would invite you both into experiencing and experimenting other ways to communicate, right? And it not always needing to be through the voice, because both of your energy and your voice works differently. DJ, yours is like the truth. When you want to say, you want to, and when you don't, you don't. And then Catherine, it's like it's pressure to speak. But I feel like I need to say this. I feel like I just need to say this. And it's because you're amplifying that energy the same way as you take on other people's emotions and you amplify it. And you might say one thing one day, and the next day you're like, I don't agree with what I just said yesterday. Like, I don't agree with that anymore, because you're more of a like open expansion for it. So it's like maybe one of you is feeling off that day. How can you show the other that? Could it be like a different hug that you do, or just like a moment of, like what are the other ways that you can show each other that, and it be less of the pressure to speak it all out and have to say it. Sometimes that will really work, but it doesn't need to be the only way.
no. I'm glad she's saying that because like it's something cool we could learn about each other
Mm-hmm.
too. Like I think in the beginning, because we've been best friends for 8 years. I'm sure I don't know if she told you or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And we
yeah.
got and then we got together. But um, yeah, like so in the beginning, I'm very like if I want to make a decision, I think very long term and I'll think it through and I make that decision and it's not really going to change so much. So I'm like, I'll
Mm-hmm.
do research. Why do I want to eat this way? Why do I want to? Okay, I want to eat this way because I want to feel this way. It gives me energy. I need energy to do what I love to do. I don't want to feel lethargic. I want to feel vital. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to eat this way 90% of my life, and that's it. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
it's probably not
The
going to
choice.
change long term. It's probably not going to, you could talk to me 5, 6 years later. It's going to be the same.
Ideology.
When I was 8 years old, my mom was like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "Myself." I
Oh, I
feel the
love
exact
that.
same. I feel the exact same way. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's like, so in the beginning, I was we talk, and I'll be like, you feel so, and we put like a label on it, which we shouldn't have, like wishy-washy. I'm like, you feel this way and you feel that way and you think this
Oh
and you
yeah, you
think
did say
that.
that.
And I was just like, what do you want? Like, life responds based on what you want. Like, you have to be
Mhm.
clear.
And I felt
And
pressured
she
in
felt
that.
like,
I was like, I have to choose and I have to stick to this. So I lived like a couple months of my life where I was just like, I need to like, okay, I need to be watch what I say. I need to make sure that I'm this and like stick to that because it's gonna make me feel like I'm wishy-washy. I'm changing my mind a lot. Okay, okay. And then it made me feel like so robotic and so close that
Mhm.
I felt like every time that I wanted to change my mind, I couldn't because I was wrong. Yeah,
Yes.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
So I was
but
just
it's
like, wait, this isn't how it's supposed to be.
so we had to learn like,
Mhm.
okay, that is okay. You feel different days. So I was like, what I can do is I can get a little bit out of my fixedness and learn like,
Mhm.
hey, like you're like more like a flowy ocean, especially as we learn more about like feminine energy and like
Mhm.
learn how to be more in the flow. I'm like, okay, cool. You're very emotion based. Your thoughts and perspectives may change, and sometimes that's good. That we may need like a fresh new pair of eyes and different
Mhm.
scenarios and stuff. So I was like, I'll just learn to like my best. I'm not perfect, but to ride your wave, but I can be the more solid foundation in like the direction and stuff. And maybe you know how to like ebb and flow your little way through, and I can like learn to play with that. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's interesting you said about direction because you have DJ, you have this, and this is why your sense of self is so strong. Your G center is completely defined. And what that means is that you have a very, very strong sense of self, right? And your life here is just to know who you are. And that also includes the direction of your life. You just have this innate knowing. It isn't necessarily like, I know I'm going to move to Bali and then I'm going to go here. It's more just, I just get that this direction is where my life's going to go and my intuition is going to lead that. Whereas Catherine, yours is open. So you are someone who has um, less of a direction of life and more about how can I just experience all layers of the person, of people. I'm just here to experience the people, the self. And maybe one day I want to do that sport. And maybe this day I want to do that sport and be really fluctuating in that. So neither one of these is right or wrong. Everything is just a way to empower you and an experience. So it's about balancing that with each other. Neither one of you is like this strong sense of self and direction works for you, but then maybe for Catherine, it's like, I want to expand and go in different ways. And that will also, I know this is random, but with your branding, it's like don't get attached to one branding, allow that to change because your interest and the way that you see yourself is going to change, it's going to evolve. So it's really allowing freedom in that, and those to be, there's like another difference that you both have, and it's about understanding both of yours. So if DJ, you're like, this is what I want, this is where I want to go, I know, amazing, like you can both empower that. And then when Catherine, you're more like, I don't know, maybe today I'm going to go there. I'm going to just go there today. And then the next day it's something different. And that be empowering and that be okay because it's all just an experience. That's what it
Yeah.
all is.
I'm starting to think it's like every person, couple, or whatever your style of relationship or friendship is with people, it like the universe is gonna line you up with what you guys
Mm.
need within each other too.
Yes.
So the things I'm horrible or suck at, like, she may want to like, I'm gonna try this, or someone invited me to this, or I'm gonna go, well, maybe I'm just gonna try look at this, and I may be like, my focus is here, and then she comes back with
Yeah.
all these opportunities, and they're kind of like, to me, I perceive them like this. I'm like, all right, take this one. This goes to what we're building. Put it in here. Put it in here.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, but it's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Totally, totally. And then another thing with your brain, how your brain works. So DJ, you were spot on with your brain. You have a very, very passive brain. You are someone who are not meant to focus by just pinpointing one thing. And I want to know this, and I'm just going to remember all this information. So school just wasn't designed for you. It was absolutely not made for you. And
Well,
I mean, it's not made for like 80% of the population, but school is absolutely like not for you. You are someone who has a passive brain and you have a broader focus. So you're not someone who's meant to remember like all these hundreds of facts and words and pieces of paper. You are someone who your focus is by maybe doing like a few things at once. And it's like, actually, when you do a few things at once, you're actually learning more and you're taking on more. And how your genius and your brain works. And this is where you can help each other. So it could be that you're trying to create, or maybe there's something that you wanted to write and you can't think of, your mind doesn't work by, okay, what do I know about this? And you just remember like it's a memory machine. Your mind unlocks and your genius unlocks when you get asked the right questions. Right? So that's how you can support each other. So maybe there's something that you wanted to write, DJ, and you're like, oh my God, I can't think. And then Catherine's, you're like, okay, tell me about this. Tell me what it means to have this sense of self. And then your DJ going to be like, whoa, well, I've got all of this and it's all going to spill out. And a lot of the things you're going to be like, I don't even know how I know that. It's just all within me. But it's because your focus is so broad that you're actually taking in all these different things. And how that looks for you in a sense of routine is that you are meant to be more flowy. So not necessarily you. So sorry, DJ. So how it works is that, for example, routine is like, imagine food. We again are conditioned to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, eat at these certain times, and that just isn't how your system works. Your system is more passive. So for you, you might not want to eat breakfast, or one day you want to eat at 7 a.m. and then the next day you're like, it's 12 p.m. and I'm not actually that hungry yet. And allow yourself space, and how that works for work or what it is that you're doing that day. Some days, yes, it's like, right, I'm on it. I'm starting, it's 10 a.m. and I'm good to go. And some days it's like, it's 1 p.m. and you're like, I'm not inspired yet. Like I'm not ready yet. And it's about not having a strict routine and not being structured in that way.
I wanted to, no one's ever told me I had a passive brain. I think I had,
Yeah, passive broad brain.
Passive broad brain. I had viewed that in a negative light, like being too passive or something. But I've noticed that within this past year, like, it's very hard to get me very like mad at like something, because I just view most things are really small. I tell her all the time, before I get mad at someone, I would get more frustrated with myself. Like, hey, you created this. Like, why are you over here? You already know what this is. You're like, all right, like whatever. I do get frustrated, but like, I do view my thinking, like my way of being, as a little bit more passive. Like if I see something go by, like, and I'm just like, oh, like that's annoying. That's done. Like, oh, that's just where they're at in their journey. That's how I see it. Like, oh, okay, cool. Or even if someone says or does something like horrible to me, I'm more like, maybe that's how they were raised. Like, okay, I'm more like learning and studying as
yes.
But like even when I was younger, she would come to my house, and my house is like, there's a little bit of structure in some areas, but there is like, we don't believe in, my mom does not believe in putting the kids like, you have to do this, you have to do like that, you have to. So my brother may be up at 3 a.m. creating something. My mom goes to sleep at 7 a.m. because that's when the house is quiet. And she's like, yeah, I can stay up all night. I might be writing a song on a walk at like 1 a.m. or something. And it's just like, even the time zone here, like I'm gonna call my mom. She's like, it could be 6. I'm like, oh, I'll call her. And then she'll be like, oh yeah, I'm making this. I just created this. And like, look at my author. And I made a podcast tonight. Like, and it's like that all the time. And she would come over from her lifestyle when she grew up. She would be in like college and have all these like time frame things. And she would be like, you're the only person I know. You wake up at 1 in the afternoon, but you're like the most productive person I know. And it seems like you're never working. Like you're never really working. And I'll be like, well, I only work on things I can have serving me forever. And like, whenever I'm feeling good about it, I just do it like that. Like, you know, and then when I start getting into the real world, because I wasn't raised like that, I see a lot of people are like, my schedule and how I do things are just so opposite. Like I'm even learning, like sometimes I'm like, oh, come to sleep so we get up early. Some nights I want to be up at 3, because I'm like, the world's like quiet right now. I can like hear my thoughts and my feelings.
Wow.
Some nights like, I want to get up really early because I want to feel like the fresh, like, so it does change a lot.
Wow. So yeah, this is something for you to both work together on, because you have more of that passive, and all it means is that it's like how I imagine it. It's like you have this like chamber within your brain, and you can't necessarily unlock it on command. Something in the world unlocks it. And then you're like, oh my God, I know all this knowledge. And it's more, that's what it is passive. It's just not right at the forefront of your mind. And it
Maybe
just,
that's the writing thing. Yeah, when I have to read a teleprompter for my courses or something, I look robotic. I look uncomfortable. We notice that. I'm like, I'm betting when I just kind of go off on a whim, and if I'm talking, it does.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. When you just go off on a whim and you can help each other. If there's something you're like, wait, what's that thing? If Catherine, you ask him like, sorry, crazy, the dog walker's just got here. If you ask him some questions like, okay, like tell me about this. Like, say for example, you were interested in human design. Be like, what is it you know about human design? And then your wisdom can unlock in that way. So it's about having flexibility in your routine. But then, Catherine, for you, your system really likes routine. So this is where you learn as a couple how to be together. So your system, like you have an active brain. So it likes to know, like, okay, I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to eat. And what it means for you is that your brain is burning more calories quicker. So breakfast is a really good meal for you, even if it's like a smoothie or something. It's like, just know
Thank
that I
you.
need breakfast.
That's what she does. She does smoothie or smoothie bowl in the
No.
morning.
I'm gonna wait till she finishes, but I got something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's like because your brain is burning energy so quickly, you're going to feel like you need food to replenish you constantly. So it might be like you eat more, and that's totally okay.
I'm sorry, we're laughing because this is the constant fight. He's always like telling me like, you're always hungry. Oh, and then the problem of the day is, okay, we need to get Kathy food. I'm like, it's not because like I'm just bored or anything. I'm feeling it's like I need it. Like,
We'll
Yeah.
leave a restaurant, go home. She'll be like, "Are you?" How she says she wants food. She goes, "Are you hungry?" To me. And I'm like, "We just left the
and
restaurant."
I even asked his mom, I'm like, do you feel like women need to eat more because of X, Y, and Z? Because I always felt like, is it just me? But thank you. See, this is why validation. Like, I love it. You're hearing it from a different person.
Yeah, totally. So it's like, okay, how do we balance this with each other? And it's just knowing we are in a relationship, but we are an individual soul. And it's like, how can we create our own perfect potential, but together? Right. And it's like, you need more food and you need to like, you wake up and you're like, I'm hungry. Get me a meal. And that is totally okay. And even at the end of the day, you're like, you've had dinner, but then you need a snack. And it's because your brain has used all the energy on everything that you've created that day because you are more of a focused brain. So you are like facts, numbers, figures, like that feels good to you. And you're going to remember them like off the top of your head. It's just going to be there. So your brain is just burning more of that energy. It's just neither is right, wrong, good, bad. It's just how you work. It's just an energetic. It's just to, okay, if my brain is more passive, it wants to be more chill. How can I not restrict it by having to follow a structure? And then if my brain is more active, it needs more of this structure. How can I make sure that I've got a snack, I've got food, I've got something to put that energy on in that moment of that day? Does that make sense for both of you?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, I felt like, yeah, I've always like wanted like more of like a structured routine,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, elements in my life. And how about when I feel like, okay, I just need everything to be like unplanned and I just want to go with the flow. Like, where does that energy come in?
Yes.
I think I have both.
Yes. So both of you, I'm glad you asked that because both of you have an undefined root, right? So what this means, your root center, it's another pressure from the bottom. But what it means is that because yours is undefined, both of you don't enjoy like time frames aren't good for you. So when you're like, right, I'm going to launch this in my business and I'm going to launch it on this date, it's going to be exact. And each day I'm going to do this. Your system doesn't like time frames. And it doesn't like to be, and I know this is backwards to what I've just said. I'll explain how they come together, but it just doesn't like to have this like pressure to do something and to get something done. Now, it's like the way you work, both of you, is that you work well when it's last minute. It's like, okay, this thing needs to be done tomorrow, so I can do it the day before. So don't waste energy a week before trying to be like, oh, I need to do a little bit for that thing next week. Oh, I could do a little bit more, trying to push this momentum. Momentum comes for you at the last moment, and allow that to be okay. And it's because your root likes to have less of a time frame. It likes to be more in a flow. It likes to have more of a not structured, as in this is the time that it needs to be done. How you marry that together with routine in your day, it's that your system likes maybe to have the like likes to do your morning routine in the same way, and that is good for your system. And maybe you like to eat breakfast at a certain time, or even just know that you're going to have that smoothie at a certain time each day, and then your system is going to like that. So it's about balancing a routine in the sense of how my day looks, as in what I'm eating and how I'm working with my brain, and then fluidity in I'm not structured in what needs to be done in what time frame. So the routine is more about the structure of a day, and then the root is more about being free in a time frame. Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it say anything in the chart about me? Like, I want to understand. Like, I have an extreme sense of I have to be free. I can't have like limitations on how I do anything, or like a conventional way of any kind of thing topic in my life. It just does not go well for me, and I almost feel like I'm choking if I have to like do it this way. I'm like, I have to have options to be able to experience what I want and do what I want whenever I want. Like, I have to, or just like, yeah.
Yes, so that is very much your open route, which is all about it wants that freedom. And because basically, if you've ever seen a chart, there's all these arrows at the top, there's 4 arrows, and they explain different energetics, and one's right-brained and one's left-brained. And most of yours are right-brained, which means it's passivity.
DJs or both of us?
DJs. So it's interesting. DJs is more right, which is passive, and Catherine, you're more left, which is active. So the passive is that freedom. It wants
Which one's creativity?
Creativity. You both have. It's all about that's your sacral. So you.
No, like the left. I know like the left or right hemisphere. One has more to do with like.
So that's more psychology.
Yeah, that has to do with
Yeah,
Okay.
this is all about energetics. So
Okay.
psychology has a right brain, left brain, whereas human design is different in the right brain, left brain because it's energetics. So when I say passive brain, it's more of that freedom, and it's more of that I don't want to know what's happening next. I just want to be, whatever the next thing is that evolves. And then the active is more of like, I'm burning this energy, so I need to know that something's going to replace that energy for me, because it's that energetics in it. So the you both have creativity, which is this sacral, which is literally your body of work. It's that creative juice that's always want to be flowing. So this is where, if I was to give you the how you work together, I would say your top things are seeing how number one actually is your energetic boundaries that you have from the outside world, because you both have this strong magnetism where people were drawn to you, right? So number one is protect your boundaries, because both of you have that. So it's going to be like double all the amount that people are going to come to you. Then working together, how can you work out different ways to communicate? How can you explore different communications? Maybe it's like just a nod, like one of you's not up for chatting that day and you just like give a nod, like not today, like what are the different ways that you could try that out and learn that it's not just through the voice, because your voice works differently for both of you. And then another one is, how can we mix our routine, no routine? How can we create a world where we can both be how our brain wants us to be and how our energetics wants us to be, while still feeling free? So a routine isn't to restrict you whatsoever. It's to give you the energy that you need, because it's this active, right? And so neither is just about how do I work best for myself. How does all that feel for both of you?
I think so, yeah. People always ask, like, I had to just now start like giving employees like deadline stuff, because they're like, when's the deadline? I'm like,
Mhm.
whenever you do it. You know, now I
Yeah.
realize, oh, most people work on a, okay, so now I just give people deadlines, and people always say, what are you guys doing tomorrow? And we're like, I don't know, we usually just wake up and see what happens. So
Yeah.
just call us when you can.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
usually our thing. Like, yeah, we set our schedules on our own free time. So just, yeah. So like that is
Mhm.
it is very like, we'll see what happens a lot of
Yeah,
the
and
time.
that's
So
part of your superpower, both of you.
we do have a routine. We get a whiteboard marker, and whatever
Mhm.
window or glass, we
Yeah.
just write down all the things we need to do. And
Oh,
then, like that week or something or month or something, like if they all get done, they'll somehow manifest in that month, and then they get done.
That's
mhm.
yeah, that's mostly you.
Oh yeah,
I have
oh
my
yeah, you get it
to-do
daily,
list,
yeah,
my daily to-do list
in
thing.
your notebook, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, and there's one thing, like I'm very like when it comes to being prompt in
Mhm.
time, like when I have like an actual like appointment, like for example this,
Mhm.
like I need to be prompt, like that
Mhm.
desire and like is there, like I can't, and I get frustrated if like even if we're 1 minute late. And
Mhm.
Spill my beans.
with him it's like I had to tell him an hour or 2 hours before like it actually starts, or I need to like, or I need to like force him like, no, you need to stay at home because we have a call in like 15 minutes.
She's like, don't leave, don't do
Yeah,
nothing.
and it's like, is that have to do with the root, like still like wanting to be free without limitations, everything, and that's where my like more active brain comes in, like very like
Yes,
strict.
absolutely that. The active brain is like, no, I need to know when this is all going to happen. So I know that I have the capacity for it. Right, because it's literally just burning so many calories. So when you need that plan and that structure, it's like I just need to know I'm safe and I've got enough in my engine, and that's what it is. So it's work with that, like work with that. Tell your body and your energy like it's okay. It's okay if we're a minute over. It's okay. Like I've got everything I need here, and it's okay if I want to be on the minute. Like that's what is going to make me feel safe and make me feel good. So all of this is just to understand you deeper and to really empower you. And this is all so much information. So I always say, like, listen back to this in like months' time and you'll hear it completely differently. But for the focus right now is to really follow that engine. The engine is going to tell you your life. You don't need to know how it's all going to plan out. But the engine is like, does this light me up? Am I excited by this? Is this giving me energy? And things might surprise you that are actually draining you. And it's kind of like having this moment of reevaluation of what is draining me right now? What am I telling the universe that I'm accepting at a 60%? Because I don't believe that there's 100% thing going to light me up. It's like we say yes to things that are like semi okay because we're not actually believing that there's like this thing that there's 100% whole body yes. So when you actually clear out space and you're like, I'm going to say no to this now, then you create aura space for your more desires that are more aligned to come through. So that's for both of you to really work with that sacral energy.
And we probably like naturally, or the people you come across in life probably naturally need that like promptness that you naturally have. There's some people who are so airy that need friends or people that kind of help them align to like, okay, cool,
Mm-hmm.
like fall into this timeline. For me, I'm like this is happening. Okay, it's gonna happen. So however it happens, like when we get there, it's gonna get there. There might be all these small things. Someone might be late. Someone might be early. Someone might be like, hold on, let me set up my camera. So when it happens, it's gonna get there. Like and we'll be here. Or people be like, oh, like you're a little late. I'm like, okay, we're here now. They're like, okay, cool, let's get started. Like it happened. You know, to you, you're like, I like to carry myself. I want to be,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it's good. I think it's like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's remembering that you both are here to empower and to be empowered. You know, if I see this as like a bird's eye view, you both have a real strong, this life force empowered energy. And that doesn't come from you trying to contextualize, how do I be empowered? How do I empower people? It's by embodying you. And you're going to know, you're going to be doing it by walking past someone in the street and saying hello. But because people get empowered by your energy, but don't always tell you that, it's that you don't always know that. So the more you can be aligned and true to you, the more you are that space and that like example to empower others just by you being in that alignment and being in that truth, which is why you say no to people who need your help all the time. You're empowering them. It's your energetics, that's what you're doing for people. So know that that's never like a bad thing. It's really a claiming of your own energy.
Wow. Super good. You're really good at this.
Do you have any other questions about anything?
Let me really think. You could go ahead.
Yeah. You said I have a profile of 3-5. And I think we talked about this. You mentioned this, that because my profile said 3-6, but it doesn't become a 6 until after your.
No, you're a 3-5.
I'm a 3-5. Okay. Because on the profile that I did before, it shows profile 3-6.
Oh, it's a 3-5 that I've got.
Oh wow. Okay. So is that like a mistake that probably I did on?
Yeah, so tell me your birthday again.
October 22nd, 1997 at 5:55 a.m.
Yeah, that's so weird. Wait, let me just get the other screen. Hold on a sec. Oh wait, I've got the wrong person. Sorry, it's like split my screen up. October. Wait, say that again.
October 22nd, 1997.
22nd. Yes, so wait, why can't I edit this? Sorry, I'm just trying to look at the chart.
No worries, take your time.
Yeah, let me just get the email. Yeah, so the 3-6 is the 3. What are you on? Genetics Matrix.
I'm not sure which one it was, to be honest.
It's that sorry, it's like, has it gone really stormy for you?
Yeah, it started raining right now.
Yeah, it's just gone really like crazy. Stormy. Okay. Oh my God. Right, we're here. Sorry, I don't know why I think it's the storm making it slow.
No problem. Right. We see you though, so.
Yeah, so the 3-6. So this is the stages of your life. So you start with the so you haven't gone through your Saturn returns yet, have you? No.
It's 28 through 32, right?
Yes, 28 through 32. So at the moment, you know how I said you're very much experiencing through life. So you're in life, experiencing through life, like, and just being in the thick of it, this trial and error. That's what it's going to do for you. And then when you hit 28 to around 31, your Saturn returns, you're going to then change into this, not necessarily change, but it's you become more of a role model and more of an authority figure. And how it looks for you right now is that you're out in the world and you're like just learning all these experiences. You know, I said with the basket, like the energetic basket of getting all the wisdom and collecting all of these things. And then when you hit your Saturn returns, it's that you go more inwards and you want to not settle down as in a place to live, but more of I want to settle down within. I want to just be more within, and all of this wisdom that you've collected kind of conceptualizes and creates your own authority. And that's where you as a generator become the master of all these lessons in your life, and you evolve more into an internal life and more of an authority figure. And it's not to say that you're not an authority figure now. Your role here is to realize that I am a role model. And the more I see myself as a role model, the more the rest of the world gets to see me as that role model. And then, you're still like this 3-3 trying it all out. And then that's when it's going to be more of an embodiment, like this generator mastery becomes this role model that I'm here to be an authority in. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am a 3-6 then.
Yeah, 3-6. Yeah. I don't know why it said 3-5. Sorry about that.
Okay, so right now I'm technically a 3-3, but 3-6
Yes.
master when I hit my Saturn return. Saturn return is 28 to 31.
Yeah, it's like you can.
Yeah, when you're 28, you'll be like,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. He would always say that. He would always be like, when you're 28, you're gonna mature more. You're gonna be more solidified.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about this though. I just be like, just give it
Wow.
like 28-ish. Yeah.
Wow.
28, 30. Yeah, you would always say that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So it's like you actually, yeah, it's when you get to that stage. And it's not that you have to do anything about that. It will all happen naturally. You'll just start to realize, like, oh, those things I learned about that, or those things I once thought about that, start to just form into your own wisdom and your own kind of creation.
Wow. I guess my question is, okay, as manifest generator, what exactly is that? Just like, do I just manifest scenarios very fast? Because I notice, like, for example, if I spend a couple days watching Fairly Odd Parents, that cartoon? Yeah, I like that cartoon.
Yeah.
I feel like my life is a reflection of that. I feel like I always have these little things just granting what I ask for in weird ways. So if I watch that, I feel like a playful person, and you can ask her. We'll manifest all these like fun parties, people on the street, but hey, like want to be more playful and like fun with us. And then if I watch something that's like really serious and get really into it, like I start getting all these serious scenarios in my life, but it happens like not like, oh, in a couple of weeks or month, but like that day or like that very next second, or get some, and it's just like fast, and it makes you feel like, whoa, like okay, let me like make sure I'm like, balanced in this space.
Yeah, totally. So in the manifester in human design is different from manifesting like law of attraction, but the manifester energy is very much the leader, the initiator, and manifesting in human design is all in your throat center because it is to create things. It's to literally speak them into existence. Right. So it's like you're saying, like, I know you used examples earlier of, oh, hey, do you have this thing here? And you're speaking it into existence. So that's why these kind of things will happen very easily for you. You have so much power in your throat center. So it's a little bit different to manifesting law of attraction, but it is very much, I create things in my reality by my own energetics and by my own voice and my own expression.
I sang this into reality. I sang about moving to Bali like 2 years ago. It's in the song, and then like it popped up. I even think about her in the song too, and then like it popped up. It's like, yeah, the things I say, it like happens like.
Yeah, it's that real energy.
And that's why he has such a strong influence and strong power to carry different conversations and pull the pull conversations his way, right? Because he has such a defined throat center, and he's a manifesting generator. So that's just like all that's like very strong leadership energy.
Yeah, she'll tell me like she'll say one of her friends will have a question or want advice, and a lot of times I'll be hesitant, or in conversation she'll be like, "Say what you think, babe," and like a lot of times I try not to, because I'm like, I want everyone to have their own thoughts and their own feelings, because when I say it, usually like that's what it is, and like I believe that, let's go, and that's like your new truth, your new. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, no, I just want to let it like, or I want to make sure I'm using this gift correctly, because sometimes like she'll be like, what do you think I should do? What do you think I should wear? I make sure that I say, I practice for my future kids because I want to do this. I'm like, well, what do you think? What do you like? What makes you feel good? It doesn't matter what I think, because I don't want my voice to be like, that's right. Like I want it to be like,
Yeah.
But that's very true. I don't know anything about the throw. I've read a lot about like being a Taurus. Like they say like a lot of them like sing or make music. They like to use their voice. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just
but
very strong, and like your words are really truthful. They carry a lot of energy. It's very much your truth, and it's right for you to be that expressive in that way. So it's amazing that you do music because there is this strong energy in your voice and your words.
Oh my
cool.
God.
This is fun. Yeah, I have to look more into this. I've never looked into human design, only through conversation and passing. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. Or I don't know if this has to even do with life path numbers or anything.
I think they're all interconnected.
I don't know, but that's so weird you said that. I've recently just discovered like numerology and life path numbers. So that's weird you said
Really?
that. Yeah, it's amazing.
What
I've only
life path?
discovered it. I'm 11.
Oh, nice. I'm a 4 and you're a 9, I believe.
I
Yeah.
believe nine.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, your gift is like absolutely amazing. So I don't know what called you here to Bali or to do this exactly, but like just the fact that you're doing this is just so like niche. I can tell you're so excited doing it. Like you probably would go out, you probably go outside and like hear people talking. You'd be like, I wonder what you are. Like, you probably guess what they are. You probably love this. So
Totally.
that's so
Totally.
cool and inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love it because I get to tell every single soul that they are unique and that we get to break the mold. Like I hated society, I hated school, and I hated trying to fit in these boxes. And I love to show people that they're not meant to fit in a box, that there's no label that they can stick on themselves that's going to fit, that every single person is that unique and different. So that's why I love it.
That's so cool. Yeah, amazing.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
I know you have our charts. Can you send us a copy of his chart or even like
Yeah,
my
of course, of course.
He doesn't even have any of that that way. And do you have like also like the centers, like the
Yeah, so I'll send you the
so-
chart. Yeah, and then I'll
Mhm.
send you this recording as well. So this recording, I send it via something called WeTransfer, and I think
Mhm.
it gives you like 7 days to download. So just so you know, just make sure you download it in 7 days. You can just download it onto your computer.
Do you use this as content? Do you post these?
I don't know. I normally I don't, but I have done like some live readings on my Instagram, but I don't normally use them.
Well, feel free to use this if you want. But like, if I did, I don't know about this. You're in this space and field. If I came across and watched this video, I would be like, oh my god, like
I wonder what I am.
yeah, I would like, I would be, I want
Yeah,
to.
true.
It's really good. Like, I feel like I could learn so much from watching something like this, and to
Yeah,
watch other
true.
faces light up when they're like, oh, I am like that. You know, you're like
Mhm.
dispelling myths or things people are like crawling through. Like, am I like this? Is it okay? Like, oh wait, okay. It's just naturally
Yeah.
how I am.
Mhm.
So,
I came home telling him this is the who I
yeah.
told you about. I came
Is she the
home
wrist?
huh?
The wrist?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not muscle testing, babe. No, I came home telling you about her. That was like, I met someone about human design. She's gonna be my retreat, and she was telling me all these things that I already felt inside, but like hearing it from another person's perspective who studied this, it's like a whole different world. So, and then I think I told you that. Remember?
Yeah.
And then you kept then miraculously you started talking about, I wonder if certain character traits of mine are part of my manifesting generator, this and that, and like you did that for a couple days straight. Remember that?
Yeah.
And that's when I texted you, and I was just like, okay, my boyfriend keeps
He's ready.
he's ready.
It's
He's asking me about this, like, okay, cool. I felt validated. I felt like, okay, like I'm not crazy or anything like that. So I'm like, okay. And then now he's into it. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. So thank you. So yeah, if you
Oh,
can
of
send those
course. Yeah, I'll send them over, and then
things over, and let me make sure I have nothing else.
Sorry, you froze a little bit. What'd
oh,
you say?
sorry. No, I was just saying I'll send this all over, and then I'm excited because I'll still be connected with you anyway in the retreat, and I'm so excited for. So yeah, thanks for being here.
Let me make sure I don't have any
More questions? Yeah.
I feel like I have it here.
What is DJ's? Both of ours are emotional authority.
So, no. So DJ is sacral authority.
Oh, sacral. Okay.
Yeah, and then you are emotional authority.
Okay, that was my last question. What is sacral authority one, and what is the sacral power?
So the sacral is the life force energy. So this is why you are both have this generator energy. It's all about a generator. So if you imagine an actual literal battery generator, it's that life force. So for you, it's that you know what you want to do. Remember I was saying the closed questions. So if you can ask each other questions that have a this or that, and it's more, instead of answering a question by your mind, by what do I think I should know? What do I think is right? It's actually like, what is my intuition saying? Is it leaning me that way? Or is it leaning me this way? I want to go backwards. So it's all about this like sparkly, juicy life engine. And it's going to guide you by pulling you towards something or pulling you away from it. But to help each other, how you communicate is like, instead of what should we do today? Say like, okay, let's think of some options, because both of you need to see the things in front of you. You need to see what's available to know what you want to do and what you want to go to, and really give yourself the example so that you know.
And the sacral energy, where, I don't know if that's, where is the sacral?
It's like right in your stomach, basically, right in your stomach. It's all about desires, creativity. Yeah, it's like desires, creativity, expression, and both of yours is very powerful.